Okay, now when I talk about the starting grammar, I mean when you start speaking, you should be using a good grammar structure. Okay, now pretty much every question has the grammar you need to answer. There are a few questions that would not be the same, but most questions, probably 90% of questions, the grammar that you use to start your answer is pretty much going to be the same as the grammar from the question. So let's have a look at some of these. Would you agree that students have too much homework these days? Yes, I would. Or, yes, I agree with that because. So you can say, yes, I would, or yes, I would agree. Something like this, as long as it matches that grammar. So yes, I would agree that students have way too much homework these days because often they might spend 2 or 3 hours of their evening doing homework. Again, you'll also see we're having the basic answer plus the extra information. That is not going to change. That's going to be the same for every question we look at in part 1 and 3. Now, there are a lot of people that will say, you do this as a teacher. You must do this method. You must use this system, which I understand that we should trust our teachers and learn from our teachers, but I want to explain why I tell you to do some things. If you can understand why I'm asking you to do this thing, I think it makes it easier for you to remember to do it, and basically makes it more effective for you to use it properly. Okay, so why do I ask you to use the grammar from the question? And there's not just one, there's not just one reason. There's a few reasons. First of all, it helps you start confidently. Sometimes there's a question and you have no idea what to say. The question could be, what is the best quality of plastic you could use to make a drinks bottle? I have no idea what kind of plastic is used to make my, oh, by the way, there's my drinks bottle, it's very thin. I have no idea. So there's not going to be a question about the kind of plastic, but I'm saying there's a question you don't know. You don't understand this question very well. And instead of being completely lost, you can use the grammar from the question. You can say, well, I think the best kind of plastic that can be used for drinks bottle is strong plastic because it doesn't break. You know, I've started with a good grammar structure. I've got a really good beginning, you know. No matter how silly or stupid the rest of my answer is, I've started well. Secondly, it gives you time to think. So again, you saw me go there. The best kind of plastic that could be used for drinks bottles is green plastic because it makes the water look green. Again, silly answer, but at least I was thinking during that time. You saw me going, yeah, the best kind of bottle is this bottle, you know. It gives you thinking time. Okay, so even if you're not sure of the question and the answer, start speaking. And you can pause a couple of times during that time. You know, what is a new hobby that you would like to try? The new hobby that I'd really like to try is windsurfing because, you know, so it gives you time to think. Thirdly, it means you have good grammar. What kind of plastic? Green. I reckon green plastic, because like it's good. You know, I mean, when you start with the grammar from the question, it means at the very least your grammar score is going up. You know, we get fluency, vocabulary, grammar, pronunciation. You might have no idea about the vocabulary for this topic, but at the very least, you should always have good grammar. You know, it's not going to be the highest level grammar, but if you do this, it's a big step towards getting 6.5s and 7s, that kind of score for grammar. It gets you started there, as opposed to green plastic, you know, not using a grammar structure. If you use the grammar structure, it's better than just saying a word. Okay. And at the very least, even if you have no idea what a good answer is, you've got half the answer in your structure, in your grammar sentence there. The best kind of plastic that can be used for making drinks bottle is. That's half your answer. Finished. Done. Even if the rest of your answer is awful, at least your vocabulary, your fluency, your pronunciation will go up a little bit there. And that's going to happen. There's going to be a lot of questions that you don't know how to answer. For those questions, this is the method you need to use. You need to start that question with the good grammar, even if your answer is terrible. Okay. So that way it really gets you moving forward. So many reasons to do this. So what we're going to do now, and if you ever do go back and practice any questions from the IELTS test, practice this. Okay, so let's do some together. So I'm going to say it. I'll pause for a moment just to give you time to pause the video, and then I'll give the grammar structure we should be using. Okay. Is train travel a common way of traveling in China? Yes, I think train travel is a very common way of traveling in China these days because the government has built many high-speed rail networks connecting all the major cities. Okay, again, yes, it is. No, it isn't. Yes, it is a common way, or no, I don't think it's very common. What things are usually sold at a street market? There are many things that are sold at a street market, including clothes, like shoes or just cheap clothing, as well as fruit and vegetables, as well as seafood, particularly in Weihai, where I live. Now, you could answer that question in different ways. You could say something like, a street market usually sells. That would still be okay. But for this kind of question, when it's asking for that list, I would normally want to, make it a bit more interesting than a street market sells this, this, and this. So, oh, there are so many different things you can buy at a street market, or a street market has a lot of different products that they might sell. Did you like studying maths at school? If the answer is yes, I'm going to laugh at you. No, I think this is definitely a question more Chinese people would say yes to this question than Australians. So I would say, no, I didn't really like studying maths at school, but mostly because I think my teachers weren't very good and they didn't make maths a very interesting subject. Or, yes, I really liked studying maths at school because I love solving problems and challenging my mind. And on top of that, I had a couple of good teachers that really made it very interesting and engaged me in the subject. So again, the basic answer there is yes, I did. No, I didn't. How often do you go to bed after midnight? I very rarely go to bed after midnight because as I'm getting older, I get tired earlier and I also get up earlier. So maybe only once or twice a month. Or you might say, oh, I go to bed after midnight almost every day because I usually stay up late and watch movies on or TV shows on my phone or play games with my friends online. And I sometimes forget about the time. And usually I'm going to bed about 1 or 2 in the morning. It's that kind of answer. How often? Every day, once a week, very rarely, once a month, 3 times a day, stuff like that. Okay. Why is it good for children to play outside? Don't say because. Because is a middle word. It's a conjunction in the middle of a sentence. For a formal English exam, we do not start with because. So have a think again. Why is it good for children to play outside? I bet most of you just said because and got very surprised when I said that, didn't you? Okay, so have a think again. Why is it? It is good because. That's a proper sentence structure. Yeah, so I think it's good for children to play outside because they need to get exercise to make their body strong and healthy, but also sunlight is good for our eyes, good for our hair, good for our skin, as long as it's not too much. Okay, so just remember with a why question, don't start with because. Okay, that is not a formal way for a formal English speaking test. With your friends, no problem. In a test, it's good because. Okay, now at this point, today's video is a little bit shorter in total than the first few lessons, but I think what you can do from this is you can go back and look at any list of IELTS questions you find online, or from any IELTS book you have, and practice using this method yourself. Again, get your tape recorder, look at the question, answer the question, and after you've answered, play back the tape, listen to yourself and see, did you match the grammar to the question? Did you stay on topic? And do you think you were efficient with your answer? Did you speak fluently and within a right level of time? So once again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your wonderful attention. I hope you enjoy this video. And if you have any questions, please send them to us at Gate, and I'll try to answer those when we make that video in the future. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.